Bill Henshaw here again, Constitutional Kook Headquarters. This on the first day of the new term of the 90 parts in Washington, D.C. And they've already summarily denied a petition from Wisconsin from an unlucky litigant who relied on a state bar association attorney, a felon in possession of a firearm, and he didn't even commit any kind of a violent crime whatsoever. Defense attorneys are not your friends, people. Get over it. You have to go there and make much better arguments than they either know about and or are willing to make unless they get paid a hell of a lot of money to do it. That's the problem. What do they go up there with? The due process and equal protection of the non-existent 14th bleeping War Amendment. Doesn't exist, never existed. How can you expect to get any remedies there except in the extremely rare case where the just us system has to make it look good? Think Rodney King here in a different context. Doesn't work. You go up there and say, wait just a damn minute. You know, the issue here is that this law enacted by the quote unquote state of Wisconsin is a bill of attainder, taking of life, liberty, or property without judicial process. And given the fact not only can we prove that Wisconsin's not a state, you can do it in your jurisdiction too, but the state being the party there, Article 3, Section 2, U.S. Constitution, in all cases a double L, in which the state shall be a party, the Supreme Court has original jurisdiction. The trial should have been in Washington, D.C., not Milwaukee. Accordingly, the trial court never had jurisdiction, even if it got a quote-unquote conviction, aka to the Constitution as a directed verdict of guilt. And for that reason, even if they could otherwise do it, they can't give anybody a lifetime ban on owning firearms. Highly questionable anyway. My goodness, it's astounding what they don't learn in law school or what they keep to themselves. I don't know which way it is. But we start answering questions like this, and here the NRA is not your friend either. They have no interest in having issues like this decided. You know, all they plead is the second goddamn amendment, and that's 14th Amendment. They know it. 14th Amendment doesn't exist, has never existed. And you send me an email from my modestly priced constitutional defense document packets at unincorporated@gmail.com. You'll get a brief that lays it out, and it says that the 14th Amendment, the ratification, capital R-A-T, violated all 6 articles of the Constitution. Why are we out there wasting time on BS like this? You get it right the first time. As it says on my business card, by the way, I don't practice law. I do get it right on the first time. So that's what we need to start doing here and get away from all this nonsense and get some real decisions. And if in the bargain it puts the NRA out of business, see you later. We don't need you, never have needed you. You're in the fix, you know, behind the scenes with the government, and I'm sure they're paying most of your expenses. So don't be distressed by what just happened today with the 90 parts, because you get into their Ashwander doctrine for, you know, rules of how they proceed. 297 U.S. 288, page 341. And they say in there that the court will not construe a rule of constitutional law broader than required by the precise facts to which it is addressed. Translation: none of these 14th Amendment cases apply to us. We don't rely on it. We don't need it. It never existed. And we're relying on creator-endowed and alienable rights secured by the Constitution, which the government can't, in fact, mess with. The basic reason being that we're members of the sovereign body politic, derisively known as quote-unquote sovereign citizens. The real relationship, however, here is principal and agent. We tell them what to do, not the other way around. And you start, you know, acting that way, and that's what I did in my South Carolina felony case. I shut them up in 30 seconds flat. First appearance I made there after being dragged across the country 2 months in 4 different federal unmarked military aircraft. And you don't have to be near as good as I was about doing it either. You learn from my documents. Send me an email, unincorporated@gmail.com. Modestly priced up, and you apply yourself like I did over the course of 5 decades and now 15 years all in. And it won't take you near that much time because my job is to make it relatively easy for you to learn. And with my materials, you get follow-up here because I give you as much TLC via email as possible. You get complimentary phone updates, and I'll even do a complimentary Zoom appearance at a contested hearing because I know it's a lot to take in at first, but they don't know on the other side. And often it's not when you put them in this situation where they can't predict the outcome for once. It's not the automatic directed verdict of guilt they're so used to getting. It makes it very uneasy for them, and it should, because if these bastards are acting, without jurisdiction, legally known as quorum non judice, even the black robe bastards are personally liable. They have no quote unquote judicial immunity to invoke. An astounding bit of legislative ledger domain and what's a legislative tribunal. They don't have any affirmative defenses. See you later. You have a sworn duty to be bound by this Constitution and the laws enacted in pursuance thereof. And when we put it right in your faces, you don't do it. I would love to cross-examine one of these bastards in front of a jury on this. Jury I'm never going to see, and you probably won't either. I have yet to see one in my 5th decade, civilly, criminally, you name it. Way too much leverage since I'm an expert witness, and they can't keep me off the stand to educate the jury. So that's the beauty of it. Also, what I do is help you set an unopposed record in the trial court because they won't even acknowledge my documents. It's never happened, let alone answer them. And they have the sworn duty to sustain at least the government burden of proof on jurisdiction and venue of the trial court. It's never happened. That's not accidental. You make these arguments, you get a hell of a lot further than you do with civil rights. Attorneys are not your friend. That said, remember to like the video, subscribe, tell your friends, get the word out. Send me an email for information at youwinincourt@gmail.com. And the sooner all of us start working together, Asians, Americans, and Africans, the right issues, right court, and right status, the sooner we get these bastards off our back. Thank you.